Hello everyone, welcome to my chess channel. Some of my friends asked me to make a few episodes in English on my channel, and I thought to myself, well, why not? My first ever episode today is inspired by Garry Kasparov about the beauty of endgames. Let's look at the situation we have on board here. You might think to yourself, you've seen this situation before, and for so many chess players, this is a resigned situation for white. And why is it a resigning situation for white? If you look at the board, you will see that black has a pawn here on the H file that is advancing to a promotion. And the black king is very close from the white pawn. The white king himself is at the very far corner of the board at H8. So if you happen to be the white player in this position, you may actually tell yourself it's time to resign. But trust me, Kasparov has something different in mind. So let's dive in and see how Kasparov could turn this around. The white king in this situation makes its first move to G7, aiming to shoot two birds with one stone, keeping an eye on its own pawn, hoping for a promotion as well, and another eye on this pawn that is advancing for a promotion. And the magical solution in this situation for white is to move up this diagonal. So if black advances its pawn for a promotion, 3 squares away from a promotion, the white king continues to move up this diagonal in f6, making the distance between its pawn shorter and keeping an eye on this pawn. If the black's pawn continues to move up for a promotion, then there is no sense for the white king to continue to go after this pawn because it simply became too far away. And the right move here in this situation is to go to e6. If the black continues to advance, the white advances its pawn as well, going for a promotion. If the black promotes its pawn, then the white promotes its pawn as well, with even an advantage of checking the black's king. Let's go back to this situation from the beginning. As Kasparov explained, the white king should be taking this diagonal. So the first move is g7, black advances its pawn, then f6 from white. Then what happens if the black king gets closer from this pawn to capture it, to avoid any uncalculated troubles? Then guess what? The white king continues to go up this diagonal. If the black king captures this pawn, then the white king moves here to f4, makes it very possible now to capture this pawn. Let's go back 2 moves and look into other options. What if the black's pawn advances even farther? In that case, the white king moves next to its pawn here, providing some support. If the black's pawn advances even farther, the white advances its pawn too. If the black king goes down to b7, the white king goes down to d7, securing this square for the white pawn to get a promotion. The black promotes, and the white promotes too, checking the black king as well. So what happened in this situation? This is actually the theory that was explained by Kasparov. It was first explored in the studies of a man called Richard Reti in 1921. In this study, this passionate chess player spoke about the diagonal moves that could be made or taken by the king at the end games. And as I am showing here, this was typically the path that was taken by the white king to save the situation here. Reti's study also showed how a king can make multiple threats and how it can actually take more than one path to a specific location on the board, using the exact same number of moves. These incredible moves can magically turn the game. Let's look into another situation where the king again makes some magical moves, applying this theory. In the situation we have on the board here, white has this pawn to promote, and the black has another to promote as well. But black has the advantage of this bishop that can easily deliver a check to the king and then capture the pawn. So if white in this situation advances its pawn for a promotion, black can simply move its bishop here in f5 and deliver this check to the king and capture the white's queen. The white king moves, the bishop captures the queen. And of course, if the white king captured the bishop here, then this Black pawn is unstoppable for a promotion. Let's go back. If the white king moves to e6 to prevent the bishop from delivering a check here, then the black king moves one step forward to provide support for this bishop. So if the white promotes its pawn, the bishop goes again to f5 to deliver this check and capture the queen. Let's go back. Of course, the white king to c6 doesn't work because of this pawn. Then what does the white king do? If it goes to d6, then again it doesn't work because of the bishop that goes there to f5 to keep an eye on this square here at c8. So what does the white do in this situation? Resigning? Kasparov said, no rush. There is always a solution. Let's go back. Could you believe that the right move in this situation is pushing the king down here in c8, asking for this pawn, which will eventually lead to pushing this pawn two squares forward. And now this pawn is advancing for a promotion. Then the white king in this situation will start taking more than one path to save the game. Again, applying Reti Fury. So the white king in this situation goes to d7. And of course, the black in this situation, following a simple geometry, is waiting for this pawn to go forward here in c8 for a promotion and applying the same thing again, delivering this check, checking the king and capturing the queen. So the black in this situation pushes its pawn even farther forward. Then the white king moves to d6. If the black continues to push its pawn forward for a promotion, then the white king goes here to e5, stopping the black's bishop from coming to f5 to capture the pawn that is soon to be a queen. So the black wouldn't do that in this situation. So let's go back here. Then what would be the next normal move for black? You should notice that if the black moves its king to provide support for this bishop, then it's too late already, because in that case, the white will promote its pawn. Let's go back this step. The one move that makes sense in this situation for black is to move its bishop here in f5, again preventing this pawn from a promotion. The white king in this case changes its path and lands here in e5, asking for this bishop and at the same time keeping an eye on this pawn that is advancing for a promotion. If the black's bishop goes up or down this diagonal to prevent this pawn from a promotion, it doesn't make any difference for the white here because the king in this situation will move to this square. And you as an audience can finally believe that the white king is actually saving the situation here and stopping this pawn from advancing and becoming a queen or whatsoever. So let's say that the black bishop goes down here, preventing this pawn from moving forward or advancing forward. Then the next move for white here is moving the white king to d4. And as you can see, actually, the distance between the white king and this pawn has become shorter and easier for the white king to capture this pawn. So if the black's bishop wants to do something like keeping an eye on both pawns in this situation as well, by moving here in a6, preventing the white king from moving to this square, it doesn't work either. Let's see. If the black's bishop moves actually to a6 to prevent the white king from moving to this square, the white advances its pawn for a promotion, the black captures the queen, and then the white king goes right next to the pawn here to capture it. And that actually what makes the end games as exciting as the opening and the mid games as well. What a drama here. Black thought in this situation that it could promote its pawn. It had an advantage. It had actually the upper hand. But the white king turned the situation around by taking different path in this dramatic scenario. Let's see the steps that the white king took in this situation. The white king moved here first. So that was step number 1. Then it moved back here again. Move number 2. Then here, move number 3. Then here, move number 4. Then here, move number 5. Then finally here, move number 6. And this was what projected or demonstrated in the study of Pretty Richard in 1921. Now let's talk about another rule at the end games that was explained by Kasparov. The rule is shouldering. What is shouldering? Shouldering is when the king, one of the two kings, is shouldering the other. In the coming situation, we will combine what we knew about how the king could change its path with this shouldering rule. Let's see. In this position, white wants to promote its pawn. So the white king wants to reach as fast as possible to remove this pawn off the white pawn's path. At the same time, the black king wants also to remove this white pawn to clear this file for the black pawn to advance for a promotion. If the white king takes the straightforward way towards this black pawn, then it loses. Let's see how. The white moves to e7. The black's king starts moving through this diagonal, so it moves here to c3. The white continues to push its king forward. The black king moves to d4. The white pushes forward. The black king comes here. The white continues to push forward. The black's king moves to d6. The white king captures the black pawn, and then eventually the black's king moves to c7. And here comes the rule of shouldering. None of the two kings can move to any of the three squares highlighted here. So the only move for the white king here is a8. The black's king moves to b6, asking for this pawn, and white in this situation has one of two moves. The first one is to push this pawn forward, or the second one is to move the king here to b8, which if it happens, then the black king will easily capture this pawn. Let's go back. If the white pushes the pawn here, the black king comes here in c7, and it's a stalemate. Notice, of course, that the white king cannot move to either of these two squares because of the shouldering rule. So how did the black king save the situation here? By using multiple paths. It went down this diagonal, and from here to this square, and from here to that square, and finally to this square. Does that mean that white in this situation didn't have a chance to win the game? Let's go back. In this position, the white king shouldn't have taken the straight path to this pawn. In replacement of this path, the white king should have taken this diagonal, following the concept of Pretty Richard, as was explained before. To do what? To start shouldering this king. So combining both rules together. Let's see how. The white king moves here to e6. The black king moves down here to c3. The white king continues using the same diagonal. And you could see now that the black king cannot advance to this square anymore. Neither to this square as well. And the only square that is available for the black king in that case is that one. So the black king moves here. Then white moves to c6, stopping the black king from moving to these squares. Black goes to a5. Then white goes to b7, preparing to capture this pawn. Again, black king cannot move here to this square. So it goes to b5. White captures, preparing for this pawn to get a promotion. Now black has one of two moves, either a5 or c6. If it goes to c6, then the white king opens the path for this pawn for a promotion. If black king moves to b6 desperately to capture this pawn, white will push this pawn forward for a promotion, and nothing stops this pawn from getting a promotion here. Let's go back. If the black king goes to a5, the white king moves to b7, and it's over again. And this is how, with the very same number of steps or the very same number of moves, the white king could achieve a win here. Let's go back to this situation to count this number of moves. I brought us back to where we were. So we had the situation here, or the position was like this. When the white king took this route to this pawn, we counted how many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, when the white king took actually this diagonal up the board to stop the black king from coming down and taking this diagonal as well, the white king went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Isn't this amazing? It's a game changer. How the king using the exact same count of steps, but using a different route, can make a different impact on the end game. This is it, my friends. I have more scenarios to share with you from Kasparov, and the study of endgames is not over. We have more rules to explain in the coming episodes. So if you are interested in this episode, and if you want me to continue providing you with further episodes about endgames as seen by Kasparov, hit the subscribe button, and I would love to see your comments. Take care, enjoy the chess endgames. Bye bye.